All right, Shalom, it's your brother Shamar from the Phoenix camp. With that being said, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QUADASH. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to the brothers that are doing this work in truth and sincerity, man. And real quick, I'm just going to jump right into the scripture. It says Deuteronomy 28 and 64, and it says, "The Most High shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other. There thou shalt serve other gods, but neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even of wood and stone," man. So who is this scripture talking to, man? It's talking to you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And this is a punishment from the Most High for breaking the covenant that he made with the Israelites, man, and following the law, statutes, and commandments. And that's why you have your so-called Jake, you so-called black, Latinos, Native Americans. That's why you're into every false ideology and religion under the sun, man. Whether it be worshiping the Virgin Mary, so to speak, or that white Jesus, Caesar Borgia, or it could be Mormonism, or Egyptology, or Africanism, or whatever the case may be, man. Buddhism, Confucianism, all these other false gods and idols and ideologies. Jake is going hard after them, man. He's serving all these idols but his own power. And I'm going to keep on going. Among these nations thou shalt find no ease. Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Most High shall give thee a trembling heart and fading of eyes and sorrow of mind. So everywhere that Jake is scattered around the world, man, he's under these curses. You know, he's in that predicament where he just can't get over. He's outcast from the rest of the heathen that he lives amongst, even though he may look just like them. A good example was those untouchables in India, man. You know, through the spirit, we believe that those are Israelites, because even though they looked like the so-called Elamites that they live with, they're outcast from the rest of society, man. They're put into a caste system. You know, even over there in Japan, and you know, they got certain other Asians that they outcast, man, because they have a different spirit on them. You know, and it's everywhere that Jake's at, man. Whatever country he's in, you know, he's heavy under these curses. That's why and this is one of the signs that shows us who the true people of the Lord are, man. Because these curses only, you know, if you really look at them, if you read them, you go through them, they all apply to Jake, man. They all apply to these so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Every single one of them, man. They don't apply to the so-called Jews. You know, those Amalekites over there in Israel. They don't apply to that. They don't fit the curses. They weren't taken to Egypt again with ships. Talking about here in America, taken to bondage again with ships, which happened to the so-called Negro. You know, so these curses, they fit Jake, man. They fit you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And that's why to this day, you don't know who you are. There's a majority of people, they don't know that they're Israelites, man. You know, there's people are fast waking up to the idea that they're Israelites, but the majority of the people, they see it as some kind of trend or something like that, man. Or they don't take it seriously. Or they're just like, yeah, it could be. They speculate on it, but they really don't consider it. That's why it says my people does not consider, man, in the scripture, because you don't. Because you're under the curses. You know, with that, I'm going to get Jeremiah 17 and 4. It says Jeremiah 17 and 4, and it says, "And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage." So you were going to forget your origins. You were going to forget who you were as a people. You would discontinue. That happened to your so-called Negroes. That happened to you so-called Native Americans. That happened to you so-called Mexicans, man. Because if you read in the history of each of these individual different peoples, Native Americans, so-called Mexicans, so-called Negroes, which are the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Issachar, the tribe of Gad. If you read into their early histories, they kept the customs that were similar to that of the Israelites, man. Whether it be the Gadites and wearing of fringes upon their garments, or whether it be the so-called Mexicans when they were the Aztecs, following the laws of circumcision and the dietary laws. Same thing with so-called Negro, man. You know, if you go back into their histories, they follow certain laws. They didn't eat pork. You know, but all these different ways of thinking were put onto them by their conquerors. But the thing about it too that sets them apart, you see that they were always a spiritual people. The so-called Negro in the time of slavery, he was a spiritual people. The so-called Native American, he was a spiritual people. They were a spiritual people. They believed in the Great Spirit. The so-called Mexicans, they were a spiritual people. They had laws. They had established ways of conduct. You know, and like I said, if you look into the history, they all have similar practices and customs that were similar to that of the Israelites back in the ancient days. But the Lord said that we were going to discontinue to our heritage. So as time moved on, man, we completely abandoned those customs and courtesies, those customs and traditions, and we took on the customs and the fashions of the oppressors that were around us. I'm gonna keep on going. So even thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee. So the Lord gave us this heritage, man. The Lord gave us these laws, statutes, and commandments. And he said we were going to discontinue them because that is our heritage. Our heritage is the law, statutes, and commandments. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. If you have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. And the land that we know not is the land where we've been scattered amongst. You know, going back to Deuteronomy 28:64. That's a land that we know not because we were scattered among the four corners of the earth, man. For you have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. So the Lord's angry, man. So the Lord took away that which made us great. The Lord took away our heritage as Israelites, which is in reality, when you want to get right down to it, or the law, statute, commandments, and that what made Israel great. So since we didn't want to obey the Lord took that away. The Lord took away that which was great, man, out of his anger. With that, I'm going to get Genesis 15 and 13. This is Genesis 15 and 13. It says, and he said unto Abram, know surely that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years, man. It's talking about that hardcore slavery, the hardcore oppression that we were under, man, in these different nations. And we'll keep on going. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards they shall come out with great substance. So that's the hope, man. So we're getting spanked. We're getting put in the corner. We're getting that time out. And it's a heavy time out. And it's a heavy spanking. And it's a heavy discipline that the Most High is giving us, man. But since he made that promise to Abraham, you know, he's gonna continue, our seed's gonna be made great once again, man. And with that, I want to get Acts 7th chapter. This is Acts 7. I'll start at verse 6. It says, and Yahawah spake on this wise, that his seed shall sojourn in a strange land. But this is that strange land right now. This is that strange land. And that they should bring them into bondage and entreat them evil 400 years. And the nation to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, say Yahawah, and after that shall they come forth to serve me in this place, man. So that's talking about heavy bondage. Because the Israelites, if you read throughout all history of the Israelites, we've been under different captivities, you know, for many years, man. You know, scriptures talk about a 400-year captivity, but there's been other captivities also, man. And this is our last captivity. This is our last final captivity that we're going to be under. And this is pretty much the worst one. This pretty much is the most wicked. Our captivity under Esau, Edom. This is the worst and most wicked captivity that the Israelites have been under. But the Lord said he's going to save us out of that, man. With that, I'm going to get Jeremiah 15th chapter. It's a real quick lesson. This is Jeremiah 15, I'll start at verse 4. It says, and I will cause them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth, because of Manasseh the son of Uzziah, King Judah, for that which he did in Jerusalem. That wasn't the one I wanted to get, Salakia. This is the one I wanted to get, Jeremiah 16 and 13. It says, therefore will I cast you out of this land, talking about, the homeland Israel, into a land that ye know not, and that's all the lands that we've been scattered upon the face of the earth. Neither ye nor your fathers, and there ye shall serve other gods day and night, where I will show you no favor, man. So under those curses. So being under those curses, and that's why Jake's in the condition, the state, and the ignorant condition and state that he's in to this day. And he continues to be in that ignorant and foolish condition. And only a small remnant is woken up and shown this path of righteousness, which is the word, this truth. And only small women are going to follow that, man. But for the most part, Jake is discontinued from their heritage, man. And in the process of being discontinued from their heritage, and the process of having the law, statutes, commandments taken away from us, we are put in a lower state, because the law, statutes, commandments are what made us a great people. And with that, I want to get Psalms 73 and 5. Salakia. This is Psalms 73 and 5, and it says, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. And that's talking about the so-called white man. That's why I said that's why it says, going back to Jeremiah 6 and 13, that I will show you no favor. So Jake can't get away with nothing, man. For the same crime, Esau gets a lighter sentence than Jake does, man. Meaning the so-called white man will get a lighter sentence than a Negro or the Hispanic or the Native American. And they get away with more bullshit and more wickedness. That's why it says, I will show you no favor, going back to Jeremiah 16 and 13. Because no favor will be shown to us, man. No leniency will be shown to us in the land of our captivity. Why? Because Esau, Edom has that upper hand. I'll read that back again. This is Jeremiah 73 and 5. They are not in trouble as other men. It's talking about the so-called white man. Neither are they plagued like other men. They're not under these heavy curses like we are, man. That's why you got a thing called white privilege. That's why they have that. That's why Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he has a state of entitlement upon him, man. Because they are not plagued like other men. They are not plagued like us. They are not under curse like us. That's why they are not in a condition like us, man. That's why they get better health care. They get better education. They get better neighborhoods. They have better neighborhoods. They have better jobs, and so on and so forth. They are not plagued like other men. Because this is part of our punishment, to be under our enemies. And with that, I'm gonna get So I want to get Lamentations 5 and 2. This is Lamentations 5 and 2. And it says, we are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers is our... I'll start in verse 1. It says, remember, O Yahawah, what has come upon us. So we're asking the Lord to remember us, man. Don't, remember our low condition. Consider and behold our reproach. That's our reproaches, our shameful condition that we are in, man. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, and our houses to aliens, because we're not on top anymore, man. We're not that great people anymore. Our land is defiled over in Israel, man. It's run by strangers and aliens, foreigners, pretty much. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest, man. And that's Jake right there, man. That's Jake. So we're asking the Most High to remember us, man. Remember in our lowest state. Remember our condition that we are in. But us being under these curses, us being as a lower state, us having this discipline put upon us, this correction put upon us, It just shows that we are the Lord's people, because whom the Lord loveth, he chastised. I'm gonna read this right here. This is Hebrews 12:6. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth and scourges every son whom he receiveth. So definitely we are the sons of the Most High, because we are under this heavy correction. We are under this heavy bondage. We are under this heavy punishment from the Most High. If you endure chastening, Yahweh dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chases not, man? So when you wake up to this truth, man, you catch hell. You receive your heritage back. You the knowledge that you're an Israelite, the knowledge that you are under the law, statutes, and commandments, but you catch hell in the process of doing that, man. Every brother can testify that, he has a story that when he came into the truth, that he started catching all types of hell. But if you without chastisement, wherefore are you partakers? Then are you bastards and not sons? That's something that we had to go through according to the Most High, man. He had to put us through that ringer, so to speak, in order to correct us, in order to purge us, in order to make us to His standard, which is to be godly men, because that's in reality, that's our ideal character, is to be godly, you know, and the Lord's gonna go save us, man, out of this captivity. The Lord's gonna save a small remnant, which is gonna be the elect and the 1/3, because they're gonna be godly in these last days. They're gonna be in their right state of mind. They're gonna be knowing the name of the Most High. They're gonna be following the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability, and the Lord's gonna show mercy upon them, man. The Lord's going to deliver them out of this captivity. Let's say I don't want to get 2 Peter 2:9. 2 Peter 2:9. And it says, the Lord knows how to deliver the godly out of temptation, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. So the Lord, Shalakia. So the Lord knows how to. The Lord's definitely going to do that to His elect men these last days. Are we still going to have to go through chastisement and persecution and trouble and Jacob's trouble? Yes, we are. Are the brothers going to give their life for this thing, to be martyrs for this thing? Yes, we are. Are the brothers are going to lose family and friends and children in this thing? Yes, there is, man, and many brothers can testify to that. But the whole point of the lesson is that there's a reason why we're going through all the things that we're going through as a people, man, and that reason for is the correction and for the teaching of the elect, man, and ultimately all of Israel altogether. But 2/3 of our people have received that ultimate judgment from the Lord, that death, man. They have to be brought through the fire. That was just a real quick lesson. I didn't want to make it too long. A Most High willing, I hope it was edifying. With that, I say Barakati Yahawah, Barakati Yahawashi, Barakati Yahawah, Barakati Yahawashai, Barakati Yahawah, Barakati Yahawashi, Shalom.